afternoon, Rabbi. What do you have for us today on this Parshas Naso?
A short devout Torah. We're not going to talk about the Nazir. We're not going to talk about the Zoda. We're not going to talk about the Kavanos of the Sim. We were talking about the prohibition against stealing. The Torah mentions Kilachayad, Agav, about the concept of Gzela, of stealing. And one of the sources for the concept of vidui, confession, is actually from this week's Parshas. It says, "V'hisvadu es avonam asher asu," which is basically in the vernacular vidui. And then the Torah continues how to rectify the sin of stealing. But one of the concepts is vidui, confession. So the question is, why of all the sins in the Torah is the source for confession, vidui, over here? The Torah could have taught us the concept of confession by any other issue, by any other prohibition. In fact, Gzela is not one of the three cardinal sins. It's a sin, don't get me wrong. But why? What is special about Geneva? How do we learn out from Geneva, Gzela, to all other Isurim in the Torah, the concept of vidui? So the Chiddushei HaRim, one of the previous Ger Rebbes, tells us something very interesting. It is al derech Jewish, it is homiletical, but it's a very nice lesson, and that is as follows. You want to know how we learn out other prohibitions from Geneva, from Gzela, about the concept of confession? I'll tell you why, said the Chiddushei HaRim. Because every Avera is really Geneva, is really Gzela. What do you do when you sin? Not you, Eli, but a person that sins. What do? What they do is, they're stealing. Hashem, God, gave the person the hands, the feet, the intellect, the heart. And what do they do with that? Instead of using that to do mitzvos, they do that. They use the very essence, the very elements that God gave the person, they use that to sin. That is Gzela. That is Geneva. You're taking what Hashem gave you, and you're using it not for the purpose that it was given. So you're stealing from God. Interesting shot from the Chiddushei HaRim. And that's why all the Averas in the Torah go back to Geneva, to Gzela, to the extent that we learn out confession from that sin, because each and every Avera is rooted, it can be traced back to Geneva, to Gzela, to thievery, to stealing. A Shabbat Shalom.